Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is the final day of the Courage to Know Yourself, but it'll never be the final day of having the courage to know yourself. It's just the last day of the theme, but to get to know yourself, who you are, both your shadows, and also being aware that the light is in you, that takes courage. It's easy, as we were talking about yesterday, to hop in the pit, cocoon ourselves, isolate, and just avoid figuring things out, avoid this personal development journey. It takes so much courage, tremendous amounts of courage to know yourself. I want to reiterate what I ended with yesterday because I said it so quickly. I want to make sure everybody got it before we jump into our final two types for the week. We all have all the light of all the types within us. Just a little Enneagram tidbit here. The type that we are is the type of our imbalance. It's where we're most, to put it gently, and this won't be so gently, to put it simply, it's where we're most off. So as a
I
type
like to
7,
say when we're most imbalanced.
yeah, that's true. But for me, it's like, where am I most off in my life? Where am I most being timid? Where am I most not showing up as that best self? Where is it the hardest to do that? Well, that's at the type 7. That's where I struggle. So that's maybe what needs my most focus and needs the most attention, and where I go easily when the going gets tough.
Well, it's where you go when the going gets tough and the coping strategies that you've employed.
That's right. But that doesn't mean I don't have all the other types within me.
We all have all the types in us. Our Enneagram type shows us where we become imbalanced.
Right. And that's true for the light, not just the shadows. We all have the ability to be loving, generous, and empathic like the 2s. We all can be creative, emotionally honest, and compassionate like the 4s. We all have those things in us. We may not call them up or utilize them as often because they're not our place of imbalance. But don't forget, you can be that part of the 4 because that's alive in you too. So as we're talking about these different types, if you know your Enneagram type, just don't say, oh yeah, that's about a 4. I don't need to pay attention. Please pay attention because you also have a type 4 within you too. I've learned this because being around different Enneagram types in our coaching practice, I've learned from all of them. All the 2s I've met have taught me how to love people better. I'm one to get angry. I can go into the pit. I think we all know about that. But watching the 2s and seeing their resilience in loving others, even those who have hurt them, is inspiring to me. And I think I want to be able to do that. That looks amazing. How do I bring that into my life? The 5s, being more investigative and figuring things out. That has gotten me to stop, look, and listen before across the street, and also to stop, look, and listen and get more deeply into different subjects, not just thinking, well, if I can't figure it out in 30 seconds, I don't care, which is how I ran a lot of my life. Learning from 5s has gotten me to look with more depth at life. The type 1s have taught me how to do things well. If you want something done well, give it to a 1 to ask them to do it. Well, it's also inspired me. How do I show up as a 1 with that light in my life? So when it comes to the types we're presenting today, the type 8 and the type 9, the type 8's strength, protection, and empowerment. How do I bring that to my life? We need people in our world who are strong in a healthy way. And the world is a bit backwards. We think strong is physical strength where you're beating people up and beating them down. But that's not that strong. Anybody can get in a fight. That seems very easy.
And whether it's a physical fight or it's a verbal altercation, I mean, anybody can punch down, but it takes strength to care about other people, understand them, find a way to work together or exist together. The 8s can get ahead of themselves. They can be extremely overpowering and bulldozing. But then when they have that light, they don't have to always be the big one and to prove how strong they are. There's like this quiet strength that enables them to be very inspirational leaders, to be protective of folks, to be wonderful advocates. When we think about the eights, I think the world has a lot of examples of unhealthy eights. Just think of unhealthy leaders. But then also think about the quiet leaders in your life that have that quiet strength. They're extremely empowering and they can be so inspirational. That's what I love about the eights. I would like the eights that I've known or just know of to realize that that light is in them and they don't have to bulldoze, because that's the wounded way of showing up, that actually just to access that inner strength, that is where their power comes from.
And that's why it's so unique to have someone who is strong for kindness and for peace and for love. Like you're saying, Annette, it's easy to punch down, it's easy to get into fights, but that's why those people that we see very few of in the world are so inspiring, because we see that that's actually the ideal. That's true strength.
That is true strength.
And then the Enneagram Type 9, they are for peace in their lives, in the world. They're the ones who are accepting, they're steady, they're harmonizing. When everyone else is freaking out, that 9 can be a nice, even Steven, steady Eddie.
Grounded presence.
There you go. Grounded presence. I couldn't think of that phrase, but yes, a grounded presence. People who keep us grounded, and they can pass that on to others.
When a 9 is coming from their light, they also have that quiet strength. They are accepting, they are steady, they are harmonizing. You feel safe when you're around them, when they're coming from their light. You know their gift for harmony then becomes more powerful than any of the obstacles. They're there and they're true. And we've had a number of 9 clients that we have watched and worked with as they go from being unhealthy and wounded to being their accepting, steady, and harmonizing self. It's beautiful to watch with the 9s, because they're the ones that can have that quiet peacefulness about them that we all need.
And if you haven't noticed, as a final thought for our journey of the courage to know yourself, as any of the Enneagram types, or as anybody does their work and gets healthier and can show up from that light, the greatest gift they have is they can pass that light on to others. How many times have I been freaking out in my life? And whether it's my mom or my dad or a friend, they tell me it's going to be all right. And I say, well, I trust them about so much. I'm going to trust them about this. They're not freaking out like I am. Maybe it'll be okay. We can then help one another and bring the light that we have to others and share what we have. If I can bring a laugh and a smile, lighten up the room a little bit because I'm so full of joy.
Which you do. You laugh, but you really do.
Doesn't that make it better? I like to laugh, even if it's serious. And like I've said, I've gotten better at not trying to make a laugh when it is too serious, but just maybe there's a natural joke that comes up and we all laugh and it just feels better. When there's a 2 who's loving and kind, when the world is filled with so much unkindness, and they've passed that on to me, it feels so much better. So we can all pass our light on to others, and that brings more light to the world. So for our final intention for this theme, which we'll cover today and this weekend as always, I will share my light with others. I will share the light I have in me with others. Thank you so much for joining us today, this week, and this month. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you Monday.
See you then.